Hi everyone, it's Evangeline here at etrailer, and today we will be taking a look at our MORryde heavy-duty tailgate hinges for your Jeeps. Now there's probably going to be two main reasons why you would want to upgrade your hinges. One is because over a period of time, you do get buildup in those hinges and they start squeaking as you close the door. Since these have included zerk fittings on your hinges, it's an investment. That way you don't have to replace them every now and then. Another reason why you might want heavy duty hinges is if you're going to do some heavy duty riding. Let's say you're starting to invest into your larger tires, you want to go more off-road. To do that, you do need to upgrade your hinges as well as your carrier. So let's get started and see how these hinges work. So these hinges are going to be custom fit for your Jeep. So whether you have a Jeep Wrangler JL, JLU, JK, use our etrailer.com fit guide. That way you can find the right hinges for you. So these fit right where your old hinges did, but they're going to have their own included hardware to upgrade the whole system. So here's our old hinge. It's definitely smaller. You don't have as much heavy duty steel compared to the new ones. So if you notice your tailgate starts to sag, that's because your hinges are starting to wear down and you might have to lift up on the tailgate before you close it. Now with new hinges, you close it just like that, no lifting required. So these upgrade from your factory hinges that just had paint over them. These are going to be a black powder coated steel. So definitely helpful because if you have those scratches and abrasions, this won't abrade as much. But just in case they do, you also have a vinyl patch included with this if you want to patch them up, since that black powder coat helps prevent rust and corrosion. So here we have the new hinge from MORryde, which is our MORryde heavy duty hinge, and then we have our factory hinge. So this has been on there for over 10 years and you can see how we do have a little bit of wear and tear on there. There's a little bit of rust buildup. When we had both hinges on, it did make a slight creak sound when you would open up the tailgate. Now with the new hinge, it won't make that creak sound, and then since it has that zerk fitting, you can actually grease that fitting up. That way it maintains itself over a period of time. So when comparing the MORryde heavy duty with other hinge options, since this does have that zerk fitting, as time goes by you would have to replace the whole hinge when things get rusty and don't move as well, versus this where it lasts longer and has that heavy duty capacity. While this includes all the hardware that you need to install your new hinges, you do need to bring your own tools. So the tools I use is going to be a 1/2-inch socket, a 5mm Allen wrench, as well as a T50 Torx bit. To start your install, you're going to have to take off your spare tire in order to get access to your hinges, as well as to take off that weight off of your door. Then you're going to take the plastic covers off of your hinges. Once you have your plastic covers off, you're then going to use a T50 Torx bit. That's just going to go right in there onto your outside bolt of your hinge and just loosen that and take that off. Once you have your front bolt out, you also have 2 bolts in the back for your hinge. So get those too. So with those bolts taken out, you're finally going to take your hinge off completely. They're going to be these 2 bolts here. So go ahead and use that socket for that. Once you have that last bolt off, you can then take off your hinge. Now I cleaned off our door a little bit just so that it's all ready for the new hinge. And with your new hinge, you're going to have some included hardware. So this is going to replace the old hardware of your old hinge, and you're going to have some anti-seize lubricant as well that I recommend putting on those bolts as you put them in. So just like how you got your hinge off, just do the same thing in reverse. Now this is actually going to use a different bit. So I'm using a 5mm hex bit in order to tighten down those bolts. This way it's going to be a little bit easier since you already have that hinge open and not on the tailgate just yet. Next, you're going to put your hex bolt in there, and this is going to have the serrated washer just to lock that in. You may have to line that up with the holes and then hand tighten that down. So once you've tightened those bolts down and just double checked everything, now you're ready to do the other hinge. It's definitely something worth upgrading to, even if you're not carrying around huge tires or you need that extra weight capacity, just because they look nice and they last longer. Because you have those zerk fittings on the inside, which most other hinges do not have, what happens is that over time, you just have to replace your hinges. This is going to be an investment because you install this with the idea that you never have to install it or switch it around again. So if you have those factory hinges on your tailgate, you noticed it's sagging, this is going to be a good way to fix that. But if you also want to upgrade your tires, carry a Mega Monster wheel on the back, this is definitely a go-to. And that right there was a look at our MORryde heavy duty tailgate hinges for your Jeeps right here at etrailer.com.